Live fitter and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Koehler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Koehler.
Hi team, I'm Fitz Koehler, your fitness expert and very noisy race announcer from Fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. So today I have an incredible guest. She's not only my race director, but she's a new race director, and I'm super excited to get her insight on that. It's Katelyn Presti from the Publix Savannah Women's Half Marathon and 5K, and also the Savannah Bridge Run. But before I get there, two things. Number one, I want to remind you that on June 10th, Jeff Galloway is going to join me here for a live interview, which I believe will be one of his first since his heart attack last month. Thankfully, Jeff is doing well, and we're going to talk about all that is his recovery. And you can join me and gush about how happy you are that he's still here, because that certainly was a scary episode. And something I haven't done, I have someone say, "Oh, you wrote a book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wrote a book." And they said, "Well, I watch your show. You never talk about your book." So I thought, "Oh, dummy. I don't really like to market me. I market all the other stuff." So if you haven't already got it yet, it's my noisy cancer comeback. And yes, it details my fun adventures and misadventures with breast cancer. And I get into all the gory details, all the juicy details, all the super funny stuff. And believe it or not, cancer can be funny. And I know you're not supposed to poke fun at cancer, like poking the bear, but I don't know. I think that I can poke fun at cancer because I've got street cred. So anywho, my noisy cancer comeback, if you haven't got it yet, go right up to Fitzness.com, use discount code SURVIVOR, and you'll save on free shipping. And that's that. So now to the main event. Without further ado, she's not only a race director, but she's a runner, and she's a good friend of mine. Welcome, Katelyn Presti.
Hello, Fitz. Hello, everyone.
So you told me you were nervous about this. Is it?
I am.
Are you?
A little bit. I saw your last guest, which was Meb. I was like, okay, I've got some big things to follow. I love Meb. I had the pleasure of meeting him, so he's a wonderful person. But then Jeff Galloway, so it's such an honor and a privilege to even talk to you. It's like a dream to get to this point. But
wow.
Yes, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm like, I've never done this before. But
wow. I'm so happy you're doing it for the first time with me. And I'm just excited for you in general. So as you know, we run in a circle of some pretty impressive race directors with a long history. I think the last time we were together, we were with Doug Thurston and Gary Kutcher and Dave McGilvray and some real big dogs in the running industry who adore you, by the way.
Thank you.
So now you're a race director for the first time. But before I get there, I want to go back. How'd you get into running?
Oof. Seriously, I guess I should say I was a big tennis player first in college. And, I did 1 year of track, never did any running. And my best friend and I went to Marathon Run Club back in our undergrad. And I guess that was my first exposure to distance running. I hated it, absolutely hated it. I was on a track. I'm like, I'm not doing this. But actually, after undergrad, I had moved to Hilton Head Island.
Where did you go to school?
I did my master's at Kent State University and my undergrad at University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point.
Okay.
So I played tennis for Stevens Point and then moved on to coaching from there in my internship. So that's what got me down to Hilton Head at Vandermeer Tennis Academy. So there, one of my really good friends that had just moved from Stevens Point to Orlando had told me about the Run Disney Walt Disney World marathon weekend. And I'm a huge Mickey Mouse fan, Disney in general. So I was like, okay, this looks like fun. And as all runners know, once you set the date, you've committed once you've registered. So I just went for it. And that's kind of where things set off. As a runner, I was running so many miles a week. I grew up in the Midwest in Wisconsin, and then went to school in Ohio, everything. So, the weather gets bad. So I do a lot of track runs. I think the most I did was 18 miles across a little track in a field house. So I was doing that in between grad school and, trying to balance my time. But that's really when the running started happening. I had my first one, addicted from there.
So was your first race a marathon?
Yeah. The big ones. I went from like a 10K, like I think a Susan B. Komen 5K. I think I did a Frostbite 7 or 10, and then right to the Disney Marathon.
And how did the first marathon go?
It was awesome. I think I did a little 4 hours and 23 minutes or so.
Impressive.
It was great. It was, quote, magical. I was down in Disney, and just it was something I've never done before. It was like a challenge that you see, and you train so hard, and finally, once you cross the finish line, you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
So
then you continued on, and you ran like 452 billion other races after that, correct?
Pretty much. One of the huge backside stories that we can get into is actually Dave McGilvery. He's the one who gave me the opportunity to get into the road race industry. So with becoming such a big runner, I was like, I would love to put these on. And I was kind of trying to find my niche way back when. I was an art major. Okay. And I wanted to be a Disney animator. That was my dream. And then just out of high school and into college, majors changed. Went from that to an athletic training major. Figured out I hate blood and I hate broken bones. So I don't know what I was doing. So throughout then into grad school, I was like, you know what? I want to put on road races. And that's where Dave kind of comes into play. So
and so how did you connect with Dave McGilvery? And for those who don't know, he's the race director, the long-time race director of the Boston Marathon. And for those of you who are watching, if you'd like to interact or ask questions of Katelyn, just use the comment section wherever you are. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and maybe somewhere else. So feel free to use the comment section. So how did you connect with Dave, and where did he give you an opportunity?
At the I think, was that my first? I think that was the first marathon. It had to have been, I think. So the Disney Marathon became my favorite, being a Mickey fan. But they have these speaker series at the expo.
I've spoken with them, yeah.
Yep. I was down there by myself, and I was like, well, what do? I don't have park tickets. I don't have anything, but I'm going to sit and listen to stuff about nutrition. And anyway, Dave had spoke about his story. So yes, like Fitz said, to anyone who's listening, he's my amazing man. He's ran across the country. He raises money for the Jimmy Fund, Boston race director. Just one of the most kind-hearted men you'll ever meet. But anyway, I heard him speak, and I was just like flabbergasted. I'm like, I want to work for you. I want to learn from you. I want to pretty much, like, you're just a role model for somebody in this industry. And at this time, I was still in grad school. I was looking for my internship to finish my master's degree. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a shot in the dark, but I'm going to go introduce myself. And at the expo, it was just kind of, shake hands. I admire your work, blah, blah, blah. After I got back to school, it got a little more like, okay, I really want to look into his company, Dimsey Sports, a little more about it. And I just sent an email. I said, this is who I am. I'm a nobody. I like to run, but I would love the opportunity to work for you or learn, pick your brain, anything. And I did not expect to get a response from such a high-leveled individual. I got a response back within the hour. Yeah. And I think I scared my students because I was a grad assistant at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what? So he had just said to call him. on his cell phone. It's like you don't hear from that, but that's what I love about the running industry. It's everybody's normal. They're not, hierarchy kings and queens. It's normal people wanting to do good things for everybody.
I agree.
So I just remember we played some phone tag. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to think I don't answer my phone. Anyway, long story short, I became their first outsourced intern for Dempsey Sports. Went through the interview process and everything, but the summer of 2015 was my first exposure to road race management. We put on all the races in his summer season with Dempsey and his crew. It was one of the best summers of my life. So.
And you must have learned so much.
Oh, so much. I mean, everything from, putting out cones, traffic, to course ops, expo. I was the warehouse person. So I can pick up barricade. I was able to pick up, signage, tents, everything that goes into a race in Boston. So
it's pretty epic start. And then I've seen that you have earned quite a few of those unicorn medals.
I have had the privilege through great people and charities to run Boston 5 consecutive times, including last year being virtual. And then I have signed up for virtual again this year.
Wow. And what's the experience like running Boston?
Unlike anything else.
Okay.
I just said I love Disney, but you really can't compare the two. It's just two different atmospheres and experiences. Boston is the epiphany of a runner's race that they always work for. I'll just be transparent, and I've never qualified, but I've raised tons of money for charity, and I completely believe in making a difference through charity programs. So whoever's a charity runner out there, it's the same. It's so great to qualify. Like, I give everyone props that run like that. I would watch them, go as I'm still student. But my heart's with charity runners, and anybody. It's just from going same distance, different stories with everybody.
Absolutely.
When you turn onto Boylston Street and see the crowd just lined, roaring, and it's actually throughout the whole course, I should say. It's from the start to the finish, just people lined. And then once you get to Boston, it's just, I hope for every runner that they would get there someday. It's the best.
That sounds very, very exciting and enticing.
Just thinking about it.
So you go from that, and then you end up in Savannah. So tell us how you ended up in Savannah, Georgia, as part of the Savannah Sports Council.
So I was actually coming back from Disney World, a trip from Disney, just a little friends trip. We're known for going on spontaneous, 16-hour park days and coming right back to work. But at my job at the time was just, I'm huge in the fitness industry as well, and had a lot of background in being in fitness, sales, memberships. And I was just looking for another stepping stone to get me to a race director or race operations type position. And as coming back, I was like, saw the sports manager position to pop up on my phone. I'm like, I have to apply to this. This is it. So when I got home, it was, I think, midnight. And I sat down, wrote Rob Wells, which is my boss and the director of the Sports Council. I wrote him, letter, sent everything. And the next day I heard from him, and I guess the rest is history. And I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it's, I think I've been announcing your races for maybe 5 years now. I think I never really do the math, but they're so fun. And I was actually very impressed because I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. I had met Jonathan Sykes, the previous race director, before you came on board, at a running conference. And he said, hey, we're Sports Council, we do this. And I thought, gee whiz, I wonder what that's going to look like, because the people I deal with exclusively put on races. I thought, okay, this race is going to be lacking some things because they're spread out. They put on hockey tournaments and volleyball tournaments and so forth. And I arrived and I thought, they're not missing anything. This is a top-notch, really great race. And, you know, the start and finish lines in Forsyth Park, which is beautiful. The finish line itself in front of this incredible fountain, and Savannah, so charming. I had never even been to Savannah before.
Oh, so, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a wonderful event. And then you come on board and I was like, ooh, she's fun. I like her a lot. And now you've got the bump to race director.
Yeah.
And so your first race was supposed to take place last April.
It was for the Publix Savannah Women's Half and 5K. It was supposed to happen in April. Before that, I did get thrown into the fire of the bridge run, December of 2019. Jonathan had luckily found his new journey and had left the sports council right before bridge run. And the plan was for, you know, me to shadow him during race day to kind of see what to do. That plan changed about 3 weeks before the race. So it was more just, you know, figure out what you know as a runner, what runners like, who's doing what. And then with Rob's help and then another girl, Casey at the time, we're a team of 3. And I'll get more into that. But, you know, it just goes to show just people can pull off small but mighty. Yes, with women's half, the first one was supposed to be April, I want to say 4th, 2020.
And you were so excited to direct your first race.
I was so excited for it to be a women's race. You know, I stand firmly behind women runners. I love it. My dream has always been to put on a half marathon or more. So that one was my baby. And I had so much planned. But, you know.
So things changed, yeah. So you pushed back to last October, November, and for everyone who's watching, Katelyn and I were going back and forth bemoaning the misery of not having these races via text. It was agonizing, right, to constantly have the door shut on that opportunity.
Yeah, because we don't know. We don't know anything more than our runners and, you know, participants know. So I remember figuring out what we're doing because we're just watching, you know, other races cancel. This one. We're like, oh, but we could go because, you know, it was very new. And I remember sitting, I think, the end of March or so, or middle, and like, we need to cancel our race. I'm like, can the quote that Rob and I always joke is, I asked, can we wait a week just to see? Can we wait 1 week? And it's just kind of funny now that we just nobody knew that it was going to last this long.
Right.
But that was a very sad day here in the office to cancel the race because it was just, you know, the leading up to it and then just the getting that news out so quickly. It was very overwhelming. But you learn so much being a new race director and honestly not even seeing what the race looks like. You know, you have empathy for the runners. You would love to plan something you've never seen really. And I've ran both of them, more races before this, but never as the race director. So you're dealing with stuff that nobody knows anyway. You're hearing, you know, you can't please everyone.
Right.
So you really just are stuck in a weird position. But we've learned so much throughout the year.
Yeah, well, you guys have done an extraordinary job, and I tip my hat, my invisible hat, to all of our race professionals because it's been interesting. The thing that I try to use my platform to remind fellow athletes is that these race directors, they're just like you. They are runners. They loved running so much, and they loved racing so much that they thought, hey, I'd like to get involved and be a part of this, or I'd like to start my own race. So as you're, you know, throwing darts at these runners / race directors, they're at the mercy of this government insanity too. You weren't choosing this. You wanted to race just as much as our athletes did.
Yep, exactly. So things change every day, every minute. You know, you can only do so much. And that's the biggest thing that I think I've learned. You just accept what you can't control. But what you can control, you embrace it. And you try to invest in the people that put you in business.
That's
And the
right.
people that you talk to every day, your ambassadors. I love our ambassadors so much for both races. They're just so supportive, so inspiring, so motivating. So just use the Savannah local community. We have such a big running community down here, and I've met so many people with starting here, and everyone's just such good people, so supportive, so appreciative.
So Katelyn, so you have all these good people. Do you have any good news to share?
I possibly do.
Let's hear it.
So we, for whoever's listening, you guys are getting inside scoop and the first to know that Savannah just got approval for the Publix Savannah Women's Half Marathon, scheduled for October 9th, and the End Market Savannah Bridge Run that's scheduled for December 4th. So we have been waiting for, a year, 2 years? I don't even know what day we're in, but
yeah,
that is probably the best news. We just found that out. That's hot off the press. But we haven't even announced it, that it's, so new. But that is music to both mine and Rob's ears. And Visit Savannah, everything getting back to normal after just, playing the waiting game. So I'm ready. Gun-ho.
Congratulations to you and to all of us, because it's an incredible event. So as a runner, what was your favorite part about the Publix Savannah Women's Half and 5K?
Ooh, I think the course itself. So if you've never been to Savannah, it's beautiful. It's historical. We'll say it is a haunted city. That's why I refuse to live in the city. I don't like ghost things, but if that's your thing, Savannah's your place to be. But the cobblestones, the local stores, the moss trees, the course is just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend coming down. We'll be in October this year. It's usually in April with the azaleas blooming. But it'll be interesting to see what it's like in the fall. But course itself, I remember the last time running it was 2019, and I used it as a training for Boston. But beautiful flat course, scenic, and I have some creative stuff that hopefully I can put on the course for all the runners.
I was just going to ask, so what are your goals for the future, for making it your own? Are there any changes you're going to implement?
So I would like to be the Disney but not Disney race. Our race is geared not towards the person who's gonna, I don't want to say not going to, because we have talented runners, but you're not going to BQ in our half marathon, most likely, or Boston qualify. We usually get all demographic for women. We'll take walkers. We'll take, the 7-minute mile person. Men are welcome to run as well.
Yeah.
So it's just a melting pot of different runners.
I think we definitely have a high percentage of fun runners. So there's lots of tutus, lots of sparkly skirts, lots of camaraderie, lots of teams, lots of homemade shirt teams. Yes. I mean, our runners come out to have a good time, and they apparently drink lots of wine while they're in Savannah.
Yes, they do. I know one that just likes to have a water bottle full of mimosa.
Oh, wow.
That's probably during the 5K option. I don't know how
hoping
the half ends up, but we just have a fun group. Energy is just high level. So I cannot wait to see everyone at the start line again. And then, of course, the finish with the iconic, you go around the Forsyth Fountain and end in the park. So it'll be fun. Ideas that we had, before COVID, and just probably going to have to work things out. But Savannah's huge with Girl Scouts here.
That's right. Go ahead, tell them about the founder.
Juliet Gordon Lowe is the founder of Girl Scouts. And I was a Girl Scout loud and proud for 12 years.
Wow.
I got my gold award. So I have a small, special place for that. But I recently, my mom visited, and we went through the birthplace building or home, and it just puts a little more appreciation in that you're older. And I've had a goal to get Girl Scouts more involved with a women's race. Like, it just makes sense. We'll have Girl Scouts looking up to all these women accomplishing their goals, crossing the finish line, no matter what their story is or what their purpose is behind it. But in talks, I was going to put Girl Scout cookie cheer stations on the route.
Nice.
And the cookie that I think it was the lemon ones, used to be Savannah Smiles.
That's right.
Based out of here. So all in all, it would have made perfect sense to put those cookies and, of course, Thin Mints on the route in a couple places, just to give it that Savannah experience a little more of a kick there. And right outside of her birthplace, actually, for both routes, we're going to have one there and then one for the half down a little more. But, we had the Derby Devils that were going to be riding down the street with you into the Starland District.
What's a Derby Devil?
Roller derby.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So you're going to have the ladies from that organization ride down the street with you, with music blasting.
Okay.
Lululemon was going to get in with it because they go right down Broughton Street, which is a very well-known street here in Savannah with all the local shops.
Yeah.
But a DJ there, and just to get the community a little more involved. And the runners run. Why do runners come to your race is one of the biggest things that you have to ask, especially not even directing it before. You got to take a step back and be like, okay, there's so many races coming up. So we share a weekend with Boston, Chicago, and I'm sure a lot more that I'm not saying. But you have to think, what is going to make somebody want to come to Savannah? So you got to give them that experience from the time they get here till when they leave the post-race party or the weekend.
I completely agree. And like I said previously, you guys have always put on a fantastic event, but those are some really fun ideas. I love the idea of getting the Girl Scouts involved. I mean, why hasn't that been done before?
Yeah, we bought the cookies before we got canceled. So,
oh Lord,
I'm sick of eating them right now.
I was going to say, I think
we donated some, and but we did buy a pretty big order of cookies. It's kind of funny, but the troops are all willing to come back when the time's ready, and I'm hoping we can do the same thing. And
yeah, I could see this being kind of maybe the 5K, the largest 5K for Girl Scouts. In Florida, why would Girl Scout troops not make the journey to Savannah to go do something together like that? Earn your racing patch.
Yep. Oh, that's the idea for this year. Actually, is for our volunteer Girl Scouts on the cookie station, is to get a patch with the race logo or whatever we else design, so they can wear it proudly on their vest or their
sash.
Yep.
Now, are you also the race director for the Bridge Run?
I am. Yep.
And what do you got planned for the Bridge Run?
So I have big ideas, but also got to think about budget and what we can realistically do for 2021, or save it for future years. So
okay.
I will say that we're celebrating 30 years. Okay. So it's huge. It's the oldest race here in Savannah. So we just want to hold that integrity of the race. And everyone loves the bridge run. The local, appeal to that is we get a lot of people coming in for women's half, and then the bridge run is more of a local, but we would love to amp it a little more for people to come out of town to do so. I would love to, since it's right before Christmas, put Santa on the route.
Yes.
In a
yes
trolley.
to that.
Yep. I'm we shut the road down anyway. So for at least the people that are doing the 10K, I'd love to put a trolley decked out in Christmas lights with Santa on there. I wanted to do that. I think when I was running, I was like, this would be cool. It's right by a Christmas tree that's in Broughton. So it's little things like that. But then I also have to remember, okay, scale it back, Katelyn. We just have to, we have to put on the race.
I feel like you could get a volunteer Santa.
Right?
Budget-wise. I think for certain, I mean, if I wasn't announcing, I would dress up like Santa. I love Santa. We always have a costume contest every year too, and that is very well participated in. So we always have Who's from Whoville. The Grinch always makes his appearance. Forrest Gump always runs our races every time. Last year we had the cupcakes of various flavors running.
The trolls we had for
burglars,
yeah,
cops and robbers. So lots of fun there. And I encourage anyone who's planning on coming to Savannah, yes, dress up. We very much enjoy the fun people. Now, were you in the car at the start line where I almost fell out of the car?
I had heard about it on the radio. Yes.
So tell that story.
About it. So because we're just a team of two, we obviously outsource a lot of our team. Like you, love having you. I cannot wait to have you back down here. I think that's when we first met, actually, Bertrand. And over the radio, or, we're just like, okay, lead car's going off, start for the 5K, because Rob, he actually goes to the 5K, and I stay at the finish, which is across Hutchinson Island.
The bridge.
So I actually never see the 5K start. I stay over on the other side the whole day. But I did hear that you, did not get on the car, and then it was
so for anybody who's watching the race, we have two different locations. There's the start line of the 5K is on the other side of the bridge. We're just going to say it. So you go from the other side back into Savannah. That's the 5K. And then for the 10K, you start in Savannah, go to the other side and back. So I yell go from the other side for the 5K, but then I have to get to the finish line before the winner. And so what I do is I make all my announcements from the stage. I got a wireless mic. And then I basically yell go in front of the herd of runners. And then I leap into the pace car and we take off. And the pace car has a hatch. And so the year prior, I did this and I leapt into the pace car. And there was kind of a gully there that kept me in. This year we had a different car. And so I have my big old backpack on. Oh, and here's the other thing. I was still doing chemo. I had my little buzz cut, but I was still kind of a pathetic creature at the time, a pathetic, noisy creature. And so I don't know, I'm 20 feet in front of our elites, which are fast. Mm-hmm. And I yell runner set go type thing. And then I just plop backwards. I jump on my booty back into the car and Rob starts moving. And then I start sliding out of the car and my feet hit the ground, but my bag and my backpack stay on the actual vehicle. So I'm backwards with my feet trying to keep up so I don't lay flat. And the whole time, all I'm thinking is, what a pathetic end. She's the pathetic cancer patient. And then she's going to go flat and all the runners are going to travel over her or trample me. And I just thought, for certain, there's someone with a video camera filming this. How could they not be filming the start line? I mean, all the things that went through the little head in 20 seconds. And so, and I can't even yell for Rob. It's one of those try to keep up. And so finally, I think they got Rob to slow down. And there was a photographer back there and he pulled me in. Oh my gosh. And it was just so funny. And so the second I got in, I just thought it was hilarious. But then when we got across the bridge and I go running to the finish line, people were cheering for me. They thought I won. They always think I won. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to beat the winner. And a few minutes after I start welcoming in the athletes, some lady comes over with the biggest smile on her face. She goes, oh my God, you have so much blood on your face. And I was like, what? You have so much blood on your face. And as if I just won the lottery. I was looking at this lady thinking, are you kidding me? And So I did one of those medics. Can I get a medics at the start line, which is the great gift of a microphone. About 5 of them came over, and apparently I think it was probably the zipper on my jacket. As I got in, it was I one aside, doesn't matter, but they're like, yeah, you're fine. They came and washed it. All 5 of them washed off my face. But I was really
that part.
Yeah. But I was actually more concerned because I had a brand new yellow Lululemon jacket and it was all covered with blood. But I got it. I cleaned it. So anyways. and that's like chapter 11 in this book, actually.
Perfect. Oh, that's funny. Well, I can't wait to have you back here. We'll hopefully get you a little more secure.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out some way so I don't get trampled or make a ridiculous.
I remember hearing all of the series of events. I'm like, what is happening? And then trying to figure out where the finish tape was, because I guess that was lost. And, who's going to hold it. So all the little things that you don't think about until,
Finish tape almost always gets lost at almost every finish line. There's always a panicked, like, where's the finish line tape? And and it's this tiny little roll that nobody can identify.
So I think that was my worry at that time, but all of the above, it still went off perfectly.
It did. It's both events are absolute blast. So the other thing you guys do really well is swag. You have great stylish gear. This is
I saw your shirt. Love it.
What have you got planned for the women's run this year?
So we had partnered with New Balance last year, and with not being able to have an expo and kind of just not being able to promote our things, we actually have everything saved for this year. We do sell it online, so if you want. If you haven't checked out our online store, look at me, I'm promoting our stuff.
Yeah, as you should.
You can go check out everything. But the plan for now, until we actually have that discussion on if we do new stuff, everything's New Balance gear. So for the women's half. And then Bridgeron, we just haven't actually seriously talked about it yet. We've been in... For women's half, the participant gift has always been a bag. So we're kind of in process of figuring that out. So now that we do have the approval, I think you'll be hearing more and more about our plans. But we do have the apparel from last year that's does not have any date on it, just so we can use it for here and hopefully an in-person expo. So.
Yes, I hope so. And your gear is always very stylish and very fun. It's a little extra. So if you're accustomed to basic running stuff, Savannah gives you extra or extra style. And then what was the other thing? Oh, the bags. One year, there was a decision not to provide a bag and the runners lost their mind. They gave a really pretty bracelet and I'm sure they got their heads bit off for that.
Someone yelled at me. Director at that time.
That's right. I was like, I make no decisions. I make no decisions. I make only noise. That's all I do. So, it's an incredible event. So, Katelyn, are you ready for the lightning round?
I am. Yes, I am.
All right. You have good answers prepared? I have
no. I watched Dave's, and I was like, well, should I write some things?
No. I'm
just going to wing it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to vary the questions, but these are the ones I want to know. All right, so what's your favorite type of music?
Country.
Oh, mine too. Who's your favorite artist?
I think Dan and Shay and Thomas Rhett are 2 favorites.
Excellent choices. Yeah. If you were going to run a marathon and listen to only one song the whole entire time, what song would it be?
I can go the distance. With Hercules. Not even kidding, it works. Works for all Disney fans out there.
I was going to say you are an official Disney nerd. Yep. You have your...
I am. It's pretty... Or Mulan. That's my spirit animal. Could do one of those songs.
Is she your favorite princess?
She is.
Is she even a princess?
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm going to say yes. She needs more credit. She's a beast. Awesome.
Yes, she is. Mine's Tiana because she's a business owner like me. So
see,
Tiana. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, I'm terrible with movies. I got to think here. Not much of a TV movie buff. Let me see.
What's your favorite book?
Not much of a reader.
Oh my gosh.
Grad school ruined that, I will say. Ooh, you know what? It's called, what is it? See, that's long. That's embarrassing. That's
Okay.
I've never read a book in probably a while. There's one that's somebody that worked for Disney for like a long, long time. She was on Hilton Head.
Okay.
Something about the magic happens, and she just talked about her life as an employee, and it's just so inspiring.
Okay.
I loved that book. It was just more about, you can be Tinkerbell but not be a princess type of feel. I love stuff like that, but I also read another one that was a mystery, and I like those. But
okay, all right, some vague books she's enjoyed, folks. Now you know.
In grad school, you don't have time for books, just textbooks and case studies.
That's right. Now, have you ever had a nickname? What is it?
It's usually KP.
Okay.
KP is what some people at the office here call me, and when I was doing sports growing up, it's usually KP.
KP.
Kate sometimes by my family, but usually KP.
KP. Okay. Yep. Favorite healthy food?
So I meal prep, and it's pretty much rice, chicken, and veggies.
Okay.
So I guess that is my go-to every single day of the week, unless I cheat. But
you could eat with my son every day too. That's what he likes to eat. Yeah. With a side of black beans.
Okay. With a side of ice cream is usually probably what.
What's your favorite unhealthy food?
Ice cream, for sure.
What flavor?
Gonna do this again. It's a Mickey bar.
All right.
Mickey ice cream bar, but probably key lime is definitely key lime or waffle, like caramel. They have it at Culver's.
Okay. And you guys have great ice cream options in Savannah. It's a very desserty town.
We do. We have the famous Leopold's here, in which the hope is for them to make an appearance at our event as well. Okay. So fingers crossed there.
Okay. I'm hoping all of these special things will, like Santa and the Thin Mint and the ice cream will make a visit to the announcer stage. It's
right.
Like just a simple.
All of them. All runners like pizza, ice cream, Kona ice, and there's one more. And I was like, perfect. I think burgers or something. I was like, those were the plans. I was like, what runner doesn't like that at the end of the finish line or at the expo? We all like unhealthy food. That's why we run so much.
That's right. And then after the race, if you want to do a cool down, you could get one of those bicycle bars.
You can.
You can ride the bike.
Savannah is open container, so you can walk around with whatever you decide to drink, and explore the city. So your legs don't get stiff. It's perfect. Bike. A little bit. Actually, I don't know if you can bike with that. I think you can't bike.
No, but you can. You ride on the bartender bar that you just ride in.
The pedal tavern. You can do the pedal bike things. Yes, I've never done that before.
Yeah, you and your drunken friends can cruise around Savannah and hoot and holler like the women doing bachelorette parties.
It is one of the popular bachelorette destinations.
Okay, so what race is on your bucket list that you've never done?
Well, this is good news too. Actually, I just got accepted to run Falmouth Road Race for Good Sports, which is another charity. So I said I'm a huge charity runner, so I've committed to running and representing them for the Falmouth Road Race, and I've never done that. I've only helped put it on with Dimsey.
Is that 26.2?
No, that one is a 7 mile. Yeah.
Okay. And what's your favorite pair of running shoes?
Brooks. Yep. The Adrenalines. So.
Okay. Something. Have you tried any of the carbon plate technology?
I haven't. We got some New Balance shoes, so I decided to wear those out just because I was like, well, don't have to pay for anything right now. That's right. For this. Yeah. But I've heard about them. Would love to try them. I love running shoes. need to, every time Boston or someone or New York puts out their shoes, I'm like, put the credit card away. I love me an expo and like race swag. So
right, I'm very hopeful that our vendors will be highly rewarded for their year of
I hope so.
suffering when racing comes back, because I think runners really want to get back and get some new stuff, and we like to shop. It's part of the experience, right?
We all love it. I'm prepared always to walk into an expo and not walk out empty-handed. So.
Okay, so we're going to wrap things up a bit. What are your websites?
www.savannahwomenshalf.com and then www.savannahbridgerun.com.
And is my discount code already working? My Fitzness discount code.
It is.
Okay.
So Fitzness 10. If you want to use that, I think it's 10 or it's 15. We might have
usually it's
more. Okay. Or maybe get 20. You know what? I've made so many of those. I'll double check.
Let's do 20.
Let's do 20. Whoever's listening, you get 20, and then we'll go from there.
And it's Fitzness 20. Usually I stick with Fitzness because I can remember that. But
Fitness 20.
Fitzness 20.
Yep.
I'm going to go right here.
After you were texting, actually, a little while ago, I changed it to that. So.
And then Deborah reached out to say that she loves this race. The half is one of her favorites. Loves Savannah and Leo's. Can't wait. Of course. Thank you. We can't wait to see you in October.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Right. And then are you guys on social media?
We are. So our Instagrams are Sav Women's Half and then Sav Bridge Run. And then on Facebook, you can find us Publix Savannah Women's Half in 5K and then Savannah Bridge Run and Market Savannah Bridge Run.
Well, thank you so much. This has been great. And are you less nervous now?
Thank you. Yes. My nerves have calmed down a little bit, but gotta say, all the people that you've had on are they're like idols to me. So to be on the show amongst all of them, amongst you, I text Doug this morning. I'm like, I'm so nervous to talk to Fitz this morning. Like, so thank you so much for thinking of me.
Of course.
No, I can only learn from the best from here on out. So thank you.
You're going to do a great job. I think you have learned from the best, and I'm excited. I have no doubts. The event will go not only as smoothly as it always has, but it'll be even better.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course. All right, Katelyn. Well, congratulations on the big news. We're excited about this fall. And everyone, if you haven't already registered for the Publix Savannah Women's Half or the End Market Savannah Bridge Run, do it. It's a great time. And I'm offering free hugs to all of our finishers.
Me too.
That's right. Two huggers now. All right. Have a wonderful day, team. And for the rest of you, get to work. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.